Okay, just want to go through before we do task six, just all sorting our code out a little bit. Okay, so one of the options we can add onto um, our code editor is the ability to be able to collapse the code up. So, like we do in Pascal, or in PyCharm. So, what I want to do is in here in the editor. I think it should be in preferences here. I want to be able to, here we go, on sources, I want to be able to fold the code. So I'm going to put a tick there on code folding, and I can just close it. So I'll just show you how I got there again. So we've got to there by clicking on the wheel on the right hand side here, and I want code folding. Now the reason I want that is so that I can collapse down subroutines. Okay, so I want to be able to collapse down what we've got actually going on here. We can see our code a little bit better. So I'm looking particularly at buttons here, and you can see that there's some code to do with the buttons. There's two buttons, BTN next and BTN start again. And then there are other functions to do with getting the cards and assembling the body. So what I want to do is just, because we're going to make it show all of our cards, we just want to pull the code together a little bit. So what I want to do is to make a new file, uh, build cards.js, and put the code for the cards in there, and just make sure it still works. Okay, so I'm going to make a new file in here, and I'm going to call that build cards.js. Okay, and into there, I'm going to copy the function. Okay, I've got all of it. Okay, so let's see if I control X that, and paste that there. You can see it's all there. Let's collapse it back down, and I want to get the assembled body. Pop that into here as well. Okay, so I've got my two functions. Just add a space between them. Okay, so what I want to be able to do is to do that. Now, that just leaves me with just stuff with the buttons in here. Okay, so we'll come back to that, and we can save that. Okay, we can save that. So we'll look at what comes next in a minute. But in build cards, what I want to be able to do, rather than just getting the next card, because what we're going to do in task 6 is going to show all of the cards on the page. So I'd like a function which is not just get next card, but it's actually a function which builds just a single card, just makes one card. And let's call it make card. And I'll take the data in as well. Okay, so I'd like to separate it out a little bit. So I've just got the stuff about making the card here. So we just have a look at get next card and what it actually does. So what get next card does is it grabs us a random number, which is fine, and then it starts building a card in the card deck here. So we've got a div, which is card deck, and then the rest of it, this bit here, this bit onwards, is about making the card itself, and it's adding a footer in. Okay, card header, card footer, card append. So this bit builds the card up to there. So you can see that it makes the container for the card, creates a header, creates a body, assembles a body, etc., and does all of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that out. So that's a Control and X, cut that out, and in its place I'm going to put make a card. Okay, and I'm going to return that. Okay, and I need to return that in. So we need card, Okay, and that equals make card from data. Okay, that's what we want to be able to do. So, and then here, if I just put that as font card, then I can just call make card and it'll build a card and it'll pop the card into the right div. So that shortens this right up. We'll take out some of this in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to paste that in there. So this should now take the data and it should make the card. Okay, so it does that, it makes the div and so on. And at the end of it, I need to make sure it returns a card. Okay, so if I just say here, return card, that will then return what we've been building here. Okay, so we make a card and then we do all of this stuff, header, footer, assemble the body, all of that, and that goes in there. Now, mind you, we're going to have to change some of the how we deal with the data, but that should all be okay. Okay, as long as we're passing data in the right place here. So let me just grab some of these and we'll take out what we need to take out. So we've got here subroutine to make a card. Okay. So the parameter is the JSON, okay, and then we've got card columns. We're not going to have that in here anymore. Okay, and we've got card header, all of that is inside here. Okay. Right, so that will now, hopefully that will make a card. So we'll do that. Now, the only other thing I want to be able to do is when I'm showing all of the cards, I don't need to see this button. I don't need to see the footer. Okay, so I'm going to add an extra parameter in here, which is called footer. Okay, and that parameter I'm going to set as a Boolean. Okay, so set it as a Boolean. So that if it's true, I'll add the footer to the card. If it's not true, I won't add the footer to the card. Okay, so it's indicates if the footer is required. Okay, so I would just want to get that out. So I'm going to make this a bit more adaptable now. So when I'm doing my flashcards, I want the footer. When I haven't got my flashcards and I just want the term, I'm just going to have no footer at all. Okay, so here is a bit where I make a footer. I can still make the footer. Okay, that's fine. But I don't need to add anything to it. So I don't need to, I can still make the button. I don't need to add the button to it. So I could, in theory, do this. So I'll move the title there. And I can say here, determine if footer is required. And I can ask question if. So if it's true, then I will do these bits. Okay, so I can do that. I'll add the card footer. Paste that in there. And I'll tab that in. Okay, so I will add that in. So if there's a footer to be made, then I'll make it. I'll make the button as well. So put spaces there, etc. Okay, so I'll add the header, the card footer. So I need to put that into, so here again, that can go in there. If I've made it, it will appear. Okay, and then here I'll need to append it in. So I can add or put these bits at the top here. So there's the title. paste them there. So there's, it'll add the title. Just changing the order in which I'm doing things. So I'll add the header and the body, and then check if I need to add a footer. And then if I do, then I will append the footer here. Okay. Add the footer to card. Okay, so let's do this section, if footer, if I need a footer. Okay, so that makes it nice and tidy. It keeps, so if I just want to make a card without a footer, I'll say data, I'll pass it the data, and I'll say that is false. Otherwise, I'll say it's true, and it will make me a card with a footer. Okay, so I'll just save that. None of that needs to change. I think that's all right. As long as we're passing the right data. Okay, so I've just separated out the code just for the card. So that's all in its own little section there. Okay, so which is really what I want. Okay, just to keep it separate. It's a good idea to keep your code separate. So there's my routines. My buttons are here. Okay, and my cards are here. Okay.